Senator McKenzie.
Thank you, Mr Deputy President. And I haven't had a chance to contribute to this debate, and I have very conscious of time. I'm very conscious of the guillotine that's coming, and I just have a couple of questions I wanted to ask on the bills before us. Minister, will the regions significantly reliant on dairy farming, and we've heard over the debate the impact on dairy farmers, will those regions significantly reliant on the dairy industry be able to access the regional structural assistance package?
Senator Lundy.
Okay. The carbon price impact on dairy prices is projected to be 0.4%, reflecting on the low emission intensity of dairy processing and the impact of the exclusion of agricultural emissions from the scheme. Targeted assistance under the $150 million Clean Technology Food and Foundries Investment Program is the appropriate vehicle for addressing carbon cost issues in the dairy supply chain. I understand these issues were covered to some degree yesterday. I'm very happy to continue with my briefing notes, so please indicate if you'd like further information.
Senator McKenzie.
Oh, sorry.
You have the call now.
Through you, Chair. I think the modelling done by the dairy industry actually suggests that individual dairy farmers at the farm gate will be impacted to the tune of between $5,000 and $7,000 per family, per farm, because it is an energy-intensive farming. So it's not that the carbon tax is being applied to the act of farming, it's the electricity that farmers have to use to get the milk out of the cows, basically, and into the trucks and off to the processor, and then the moisture out of that to get it onto the docks as one of our major export industries, particularly in my home state of Victoria. And I'm not sure whether the Food and Foundry program actually deals with the socio-economic impacts that the carbon tax will have on the dairy farming communities, particularly, for instance, South Gippsland, where I come from. Given that, and the industry itself has been a loud advocate, I'd just like to draw the Minister to Division 5 and the Productivity Commission inquiries that are outlined to occur, to have a look at particular industries and aspects in our economy that may be adversely affected, and particularly those industries that are emissions intensive and trade exposed, which I would argue, and so would the industry, and so I'm sure would the VFF and the NFF, argue that dairy is such an industry. Is there any provision within any of the bills for this to be reviewed, the impact of the tax on this particular industry to be reviewed prior to the 30th of June 2015, which seems to be, from my reading, the first point at which this can be looked at?
Thank you for that question. I think, as has been stated on numerous occasions, the Climate Change Authority will have the capacity to look at what's happening in the various markets from time to time, so that would be the appropriate place were any such observations made and a case for a review built. I am happy to give you a little more information, given you raised farm costs. ABARES released a report in June of 2011 that found electricity accounts for about 2.3% of total dairy farm cash costs. Treasury modelling indicates that a 10% increase in electricity would represent an increase of around 0.2% in total farm cash costs, not dissimilar to other industries that are not eligible for jobs and competitive assistance. However, estimates of the impact of the carbon price on dairy farms include increases in fertiliser costs, but these are fertilisers such as urea are in the trade exposed and assisted under the Jobs and Competitive program, so there's an opportunity there.
Senator McKenzie.
Thank you, Chair. Two more quick questions. Minister, how many workers in the Latrobe Valley will lose their jobs as a result of the carbon tax?
It's a ridiculous question, and obviously trying to move away from sensible questions onto making political statements like this. I believe that industry generally in Australia will in fact
Order,
be
order,
strengthened.
Senator Lundy. Senator McKenzie, a point of order.
Well, just a point of clarification from you, Chair. My voice raised at the end of the statement, indicating it was a question, and I'm sure Hansard would reflect that there would be a question mark after that, was actually a question, not a comment.
Thank you, Senator McKenzie. We'll take that as a question. Senator Lundy.
Look, my previous statement stands. I think the political point's trying to be made. I believe that these provisions in the implementation of the clean energy bills will strengthen all of these industries because it will put Australia at the forefront. No, you can't say there are job losses. You can't just make it up in the course of the debate. The issue here is that all of these measures, as the opposition well knows, will strengthen industry right across Australia, including preparing us for an economy that is low in emissions. Scoff as they may, the opposition knows full well that the clean energy bills that the government is putting forward provide Australia the best opportunity to put our best foot forward. We will be able to demonstrate low pollution and achieving the targets that we have discussed over many years now. And the other point I'd like to make about the
Bernardi.
I think the Treasury modelling just does talk about the fact that it remains a generation sector.
Yeah. The other point I'd like to make when the opposition stops interjecting is that this debate has had a significant workout for many years now. Many of these issues have been traversed in great detail. I will certainly do my best to respond to specific questions about the impact of the dairy industry, as I think I've demonstrated. But questions like that, I think, just take you back down to the bottom of the barrel. It'd be nice if we allowed Senator Xenophon some time to debate his amendments this morning as well. I know he's got many. I am prepared to respond to his amendments, and I presumed he would be given the opportunity by the opposition to proceed through those forthwith, given you haven't got any more, given the opposition have no more amendments.
Senator McKenzie.
Thank you, Chair. Maybe I can clarify for the Minister and use a broader, in fact the same language that is in the Securing a Clean Energy Future to describe the sorts of impacts of the carbon tax that I'm talking about. So maybe we'll call them, rather than job losses, we'll call socio-economic impacts. Could the Minister outline the modelled or projected, or that some thought has been given to the socio-economic impacts of the carbon tax on the Latrobe Valley? Well, you've answered that, Minister, as best you can. But I would ask the same question for the Goulburn Valley in Victoria, a region in Victoria heavily reliant on horticultural production, and obviously food processing makes up a key component of that local economy.
Senator Lundy.
Thanks, Senator McKenzie. Look, I have got a reference here in the Productivity Commission, the Treasury modelling, that I'd just like to read to you because it makes specific reference to the Latrobe Valley. The Latrobe Valley remains an important energy exporting region even as the existing coal plant is retired. The Latrobe Valley has significant transmission and distribution networks, making it ideal for investment in new and cleaner energy sources. Both modellers show more generation capacity located in the Latrobe Valley in 2050 than today, despite the eventual retirement of all existing emission-intensive brown coal generators. However, the results of the modellers vary considerably in the timing of retirements and the composition and timing of new generation capacity. So I guess underlining my general statement that I think there is strong prospects, and the characteristic and context of this change through the clean energy bills does augur positively for the long-term future of Australia as a low-pollution economy. It's a transition phase, and one in which these bills are an appropriate first step.
Senator McKenzie, just before I call you, I'll give you the call this time again, and then I'll move to other senators in light of the time constraints we have. Senator McKenzie.
Thank you, Deputy President. And I just wanted to reiterate that my question was actually about the Goulburn Valley.
Senator Lundy.
Well, I'll see if I can find a specific reference to the Goulburn Valley, and I'll ask the Minister to pass that back to you.